What is up? What is good? All Pro Nation family. We are back from our 2-week vacation. And, man, I feel like we were gone a lot longer than 2 weeks, Tanner.
I know. Things are a little different change of scenery for me.
Yeah. So for those of you who follow the podcast weekly know that Tanner has always been in South Dakota. Is running joke talking about the weather there, but you now find yourself in sunny Arizona.
Yeah, I was actually just looking. I was looking through some old messages on my phone yesterday, and I was talking to my dad, and just a month and a half ago, we had almost 12 inches of snow on the ground, and here I am down in Arizona, and on Sunday it was 112 degrees. So it's a big jump.
Yeah. Hey, now you see how I feel. Freaking hot ass weather.
Yeah, it's best to just stay inside.
Oh man, but the move was good, right? We're all settled in.
Yeah, we're all settled in. Good to go. It's my new residency for a couple of years.
I hear you. Well, we sure did miss all our listeners. Hope y'all missed us too. We actually only took a week off. There was actually a podcast 2 weeks ago. But somebody is an idiot and deleted the whole podcast before it got uploaded. We'll just blame that on Tanner.
The idiot is not Tanner. It is not Tanner.
So it was a pretty cool episode. We ranked all 32 teams. So since that got deleted, we'll save that for our preseason episode.
We're gonna do it again in August.
Yeah. So you didn't miss anything. We'll redo that show. But yeah, so we really only took a week off. But you guys haven't heard us in 2 weeks, so thank you for understanding that we had a life that we had to go attend to. It's the off season, man. This is like the doldrums of the NFL season. So. Mm-hmm. Before we hop into NFL talk, let's talk a little bit NBA playoffs. You watching the NBA playoffs?
Oh my gosh, I am. I can't wait to go watch it here in about 20 minutes too.
Yeah. So
Game 3 tonight.
Do you think Golden State is going to sweep the Cavaliers?
No.
Do you think Golden State will win it in 5?
They'll win in 5. Before one, I think LeBron will steal one of the next 2 games in Cleveland.
Well, you have more hope than I do because I'm going for the sweep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna downgrade you for that just because the Warriors got a lot of firepower, but they've played them close at times. The Cavs just got to play better on defense. Their transition defense is just horrible.
Freaking Steph Curry played out of his mind Sunday night.
Yeah, man, he's good. God. He's gonna win finals. Yeah.
And then, and what did you think of the J.R. Smith?
Oh my goodness! It was enough to get me to jump out of my couch chair.
Who is
jumping up and down.
Do you think J.R. Smith is the most hated person in Cleveland?
He's got to be up there right now. He probably is, but I wouldn't say he's the most hated.
Let's call it what it is. Had he even tried to make that shot, Durant was right there. He was gonna block it.
Oh yeah, I just think I don't know. Everybody's probably just upset because they couldn't get a shot off.
Yeah,
and that he neglected to see how much time was left. It just looks really stupid when you're on the biggest stage in the NBA and you just don't know how much time's on the clock.
Well,
I
didn't
guess
they call a timeout? Not calling the timeout is also very peculiar.
I think. Well, yeah, but they didn't. Did you see later, the video, a day later, saying LeBron didn't know that they had a timeout left?
Yeah. Because
Ty Lue came back to the bench and LeBron asked me, "Do we have any timeouts left?" And Ty Lue's like, "Yeah, we got one timeout left."
Yeah, it's why didn't they take that?
Oh, I don't know.
And that was JR's whole argument was I just grabbed the ball thinking they were going to call the timeout.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's a disaster. It was a mess. I actually the very first night when it happened, I was sitting after the game thinking that this was actually a conspiracy theory that somebody paid JR to throw that or something. I don't know. It just looked like it was set up. He did it on purpose. How do you screw that up? But
I mean, look, if the Cavaliers couldn't win that game, that's why I'm going with the sweep. They couldn't even win that game, so I
I
think
think they'll pull one out at home. We'll see what happens.
we'll see. I'm
I'm
pretty
pulling for
excited.
Golden State. I'm not really a fan of superstar teams, but if I have to pick one of the two, I'm probably with Golden State.
Oh yeah, no, I hate Golden State because they're a superstar team, but uh, it's what it is. I don't hate Golden State. I hate Kevin Durant. That's really what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
After the NBA Finals, we're gonna have to do some more NBA offseason talk and see where LeBron's going next
yeah,
year.
absolutely.
Is he gonna stay?
Absolutely. And as you know, this show is on the All Pro Nation Radio Network, where we do have an NBA dedicated podcast, the Wide Men Can't Jump podcast. So be sure you are checking them out. Also, you got the big Greek, the sports Greek, Victor Logothetis. He talks a little NBA and baseball as well, so you can check him out. But right here on the All Pro Nation podcast, we like to talk NFL, so we're going to jump right on in. And tonight, Tanner, we are starting the state of each division again. For those of you who remembered after the season, we did the state of the NFL. We broke down every division. Well, we're going to do that again now that we've been through free agency, the draft, and OTAs are full underway. Mini camps are getting ready to start, and man, training camp's just a couple of weeks away.
I can't wait.
It's like
I
you
need
can
more football
almost
in my life.
smell football.
It's great.
Yeah, it's so good. With that said, we do have a special guest tonight. His name is John
Barchard.
Barchard. God dang it, there it is again. John Barchard. He's going to be joining us in a little bit. He's going to break down the NFC East. John Barchard is on WIP in Philadelphia.
Really?
And so y'all, for all those Philadelphia fans that love to listen to the All Pro Nation podcast, be sure that you go support those guys out over there. And so anyway, so he'll be joining us here in a little bit to talk a little bit NFC East and the Eagles. Why don't we start there, Tanner? What do you think of the NFC East?
I think it's going to be a lot more competitive this year than it was last year.
Okay.
I think the Eagles, I know John mentioned it already on the show, I think that they are still going to be the team to beat, and I don't really think a lot of the teams within the division are even close to touching them yet. But I do think after that first spot, I think Dallas, Washington, and New York, it's a toss-up for whoever wants that wild card spot or that second spot. Dallas is going to be a lot better this year. They upgraded their offensive line this offseason, and I think they'll probably have the best O-line in football again this year. So if Ezekiel Elliott can stay healthy, I mean, I've already said it on the show a couple weeks ago. Don't be shocked if he runs for 2,000 yards this year. That's not going to surprise me one bit. I really don't. I was really hesitant about the Dez Bryant cut. I thought it was going to hurt Dak Prescott, but I actually don't think it's going to hurt him as much as I initially thought. I think the addition of Allen Hurns, I think that'll be enough to replace him. And I mean, they still have Cole Beasley and Terrence Williams, so he still has some weapons. But I don't expect the Dallas offense to take a huge step back.
Right.
So, the Redskins added Alex Smith this offseason. I know I'm a Homer Vikings fan. We added Kirk Cousins, but I actually think Alex Smith is better than Kirk Cousins. So I think they upgraded. I think he's going to do a better job of taking care of the ball. They still have a really good offensive line. Chris Thompson, super underrated running back. And they're pairing Darius Geis with him now, so they got a 1-2 punch combo in the backfield. That's just a huge dynamic threat. And they went and added Paul Richardson this offseason to give them some help at wideout as well. And Jordan Reed's back, so let's hope that he can stay healthy this year. I think they upgraded their defense, and I think that they're actually one of the more underrated teams in the NFC. And it wouldn't surprise me if they, give Philadelphia a run for their money even.
Yeah.
And then lastly, New York Giants. You and I, we've talked about it 1,000 times. Not fans of bringing Eli Manning back, but they're super loyal to him. Giants fans love him. And they're going all in, trying to win one more Super Bowl before he retires. They went and drafted the best player in the draft, Saquon Barkley, to get a run game going. I love the additions that they added up front in the offensive line in the offseason. They got Patrick Omameh from Jacksonville. He's really good in the run game. Nate Solder from New England is going to be Eli's new blindside protector. And the big bowling ball bully, Will Hernandez in the draft. They got him in the second round. So the New York offense is going to be terrific, I think, again, as long as Eli just does a better job of taking care of the ball than he has in the past. OBJ is going to be back, and Evan Ingram was a stud last year. So the only concern I think with them is we don't know what their defense is going to look like. They're switching from a 4-3 to a 3-4. It's going to look a little different, and Jason Pierre-Paul is no longer there. So we'll see what they can do, if they can hold offenses down enough to keep the Giants within competitive range.
Okay.
How about you?
So how do you think that the NFC East from top to bottom
Going to play out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's really early. It's tough to say because there's going to be a ton of injuries yet. There always is in training camp and before the season starts. But if I had to pick today, Philadelphia is obviously the number one cut team. They got the best well-rounded roster in all of football. And I think Dallas is going to come in at number 2. I think they're going to be competitive again this year, probably a 9-10 win team around that range. They got a really young defense, but I think their offense is really going to be much improved. Third spot, I'm going to say Washington. I think they're right behind Dallas. They're probably in that 9-10, 8-win team. And then I just have some concerns about New York's defense. And I'm going to say New York probably come in last with, 6 or 5 wins or something like that. I just think defense isn't going to be able to stop anybody, and I think Eli would probably throw around 20 picks this year.
Yeah. So I think the Eagles are going to finish number 1, obviously. Number 2, I think I kind of disagree with you. I think it's going to be between Washington and New York, and I'm leaning a little bit heavier on New York. I don't think New York was as bad of a team as they were. I think they were really undercoached. So I honestly think New York could slide in at number 2. And then I think Dallas will round it out at number 4.
We were sitting here like right after the draft talking about all the draft teams and how they got better, and I'm surprised that you're still here and that Dallas fans haven't like knocked down your door yet. Are you hiding someplace or?
Yes, I live in a steel coated basement under the ground where no Dallas Cowboy fan can find me.
Impenetrable.
Impenetrable.
Oh.
Yeah, I hear them.
Or maybe they just don't listen anymore.
That
could be too.
That might be it. That probably is it.
You show no love.
Oh, I can't wait till we can get a Dallas person on here. Yeah,
see, my thing with the Cowboys is just that like they don't have like elite talent on their offense, but their offensive line up front is so good. I just think that's enough to get them
tired of hearing about their offensive line.
At least like 7 or 8 wins. The game is won in the trenches, man. And when you got 3 guys on your offensive line that are like top 5 in each category, Tyron Smith, Travis Frederick, and Zach Martin, like that's just if those guys can stay healthy, they're gonna win at least 7 or 8 games. They ain't gonna get 4th with that record, would they? It'd be tough to do.
I think they're going to be coming 4th. I think you're giving them way too much credit.
Okay.
Way too much.
I will write this down. This is good. I like this. This is the off season. We can go June 6th. Chris Smith said that the Cowboys will finish 4th in the division.
Yep. Write it down. And if I'm wrong,
cool.
If I'm wrong at the end of the year, I'll eat crow on it for sure.
Can we get you of taking a picture or a selfie in like a Dak jersey or something?
Let's not get crazy.
No? Okay.
Let's not get crazy.
I knew you were scared.
Okay. If Dallas comes in 1st or 2nd in the division, I will change my Twitter handle or my profile picture of me wearing a Dallas Cowboys t-shirt. I'll go that far.
What was it if they come in 2nd?
1st or 2nd.
Okay, I gotta write that down too.
1st or 2nd.
That's good.
No, I'll do this. Let's raise the stakes. If they come in 1st.
Oh.
If they come in 1st, I will go out and buy a freaking $50 or $90, however much they cost, legitimate Nike Dallas Cowboy jersey and wear it.
Okay.
2nd place, they just get a cheap $5 t-shirt.
2nd All right, sounds good.
Third place, I'll just let a Cowboys fan come on here and yell at me.
All right, I'm good with that.
You good with that? So that's what we're
I'll
gonna
sit
do.
back. I'll sit back here and let him tear you apart. Maybe Jerry Jones will be kind enough to come on our show.
Oh, right. So anyway, so that's we'll save the rest of it for John, what we had to talk with him about. So let's move into NFL news and noteworthies. There's a lot because we haven't been here for 2 weeks. So I don't even know where you want to start.
I haven't. I've been moving and stuff, so I haven't been paying real close attention to all the stuff that's been going on. So I've just kind of headlined some of the top stuff. I read today Deshaun Watson, severe ACL injury. J.J. Watt, what did he do? He broke his tibia or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had a bad knee injury too. So both those guys are expected to be ready by training camp. So they're making excellent progress. The Bears signed tight end Zach Miller to a 1-year deal, vet minimum. I thought that was a really class act by that organization. He's never going to play again. He actually almost lost his leg last season after that injury. And, so what do we got here? The Dolphins signed cornerback Bobby McCain to a 4-year contract extension. We got a couple signings. Brandon Marshall is headed to Seattle to join Russell Wilson, give him a new target.
Yeah, that's interesting.
We talked a little bit with John on our show about Michael Kendricks and who's going to replace him, but because he is going to Cleveland next year. Did you see how that all went down at the Ian Rappaport?
Yes.
I thought it was pretty funny. Ian Rappaport came out and said that on Twitter that he signed a 1-year deal with the Browns and how much it was. And Michael Kendricks went on Twitter and tweeted him and said, "I will never respect you," and saying that it wasn't true. About an hour later after that, he ended up saying that it was confirmed and he actually did sign with the Browns. So that was a complete mess. And I thought it was kind of a dick move of Michael Kendricks to act like that. Because Rap Sheet's just doing his job.
Right.
The Packers signed tight end Mercedes Lewis to go along with Jimmy Graham. So that gives Aaron Rodgers another target in Green Bay. And the other big thing, I don't know if it's so much sports necessary, but it's more politics, the national anthem ruling. I don't think that we talked about it last time before it came out. The NFL is requiring players this year to stand for the national anthem. If they do not, they will could possibly face suspensions and fines. And I guess to go along with that, Donald Trump, our president, has disinvited the Eagles from the White House.
Yeah, that was yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah, or 2 days ago, or whatever it was. So that's most of my big news. There's a good chance I might have missed a lot of stuff, but like I said, I've been busy with moving and stuff. So if you got anything I missed, I'd love to hear it.
No. I think the one thing that is real interesting and it's going to be a fun thing to follow is the Ron Shazier did a press conference. Looked freaking very healthy, and says that he still plans to try to come back and play football. Obviously, won't be this year, but that's still his goal.
Can I intervene here quick? What are your thoughts on that?
On Shazier coming back? I think he's crazy.
I mean, yeah, I respect him, and I think it's great that he's not going to lose his legs and he's going to be able to walk again or whatever. But after suffering an injury like that, like almost being paralyzed, why would you want to play again? Is it worth it?
Yeah, no. I think I don't know. I think he's crazy. I think he should just retire and be happy that he's alive.
That's kind of my feeling on it too.
But hey,
it's his life. It's his life. He can live it how he wants. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good story though.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There has been a lot of a lot of big breaking news that's happened over the last couple of weeks, and I mean, honestly, a lot of it now is kind of old news, so we just won't
Mhm.
waste our time talking about it. But we do promise that we're back in it, podcast every week. So we are going to be following the news, and we'll be able to go deep dive next week after we have a good week of following news. I think that's fair, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Um, so, uh, so with that, I guess we will. Again, thank you guys so much for understanding that we needed to take a little time off so Tanner could move. Work's just been crazy for me, but we're back. We will be here. Um, be sure to stay tuned and listen to the interview with John Barchard of WIP in Philadelphia as we break down the NFC East. Um, be sure that if you're not, you need to be following us on Facebook and Twitter at All Pro Nation. Check us out at allpronation.com. If you love us, give us a 5-star review. Tell everybody how much you love the podcast. And if you really love us, you can donate to the podcast at allpronation.com. And with that, I guess we're going to sign out a little early tonight. So we got a little NBA
Hey,
game to
Chris.
go watch. What's that?
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Don't delete this podcast.
I'm not going to delete it. I promise. I promise.
Don't screw it up.
I won't. I'm so sorry, guys, about that. But you know what? It is what it is. But anyways, we're excited to be back, and we will definitely have a better podcast for y'all next week. Now that we're getting back into the groove of it. So, anyways, I will see y'all next week. Tanner, good night, sir.
Peace.
All right, All Pro Nation family, and we have a special guest for you tonight as we enter into the NFC East preview. We have John
Barchard.
Barchard, there it is. John Barchard with us tonight. John, how you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. Actually, yeah, I see you. I had so much confidence. I thought I was like, he's going to nail this thing. And then you're like, freak yourself out. And that's okay. If you would have screwed it up, it wouldn't have mattered. I respond to anything.
Well, you know, I was thinking when I went to say it, I was like, wait, he said say orchard, but with a B. Okay, Barchard, there it is. I should have just read it normally and not tried to overthink it.
That's all right. We're here. I'm glad to be here. I'm excited to talk a little Eagles and NFC East with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So, John, before we get started, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody who listens to the podcast, if they've never heard of you, where they can find you at on the internet, on Twitter, and kind of follow your stuff.
Sure. It's at John Barchard on the Twitter. You can also follow my podcast, BGN Radio, at BGN_radio. Birds pretty much 7 days a week over there, and a lot of different breakdowns with a lot of different voices, from the goofy parts of Eagles fandom to the very serious of breaking down tape and going to the next level. And it's all kind of mishmashed in there, but a lot of Eagles talk there. Certainly bleedinggreennation.com is where you find us for all the lovely articles that Chief Brandley Gowden is in charge of.
All right, awesome, cool. All right, so guys, what we're going to do is, I don't know if you remember at the end of the season last year, we did the state of the NFL, and we broke down each division. Well, now we're doing that again, but this time we're previewing what the 2018 season is going to look like. So, John, my first question I have for you is, which team poses the biggest threat to the Eagles to win the division?
Nobody. And there's going to be like, oh, come on, bro. Like they made all these different, literally nobody. And the great thing about the Eagles schedule as it sets up again for them this year is it's going to be tough in the beginning. And certainly everybody's going to look at Carson Wentz's health and kind of think about that. But I got to say, after a couple of weeks of OTAs now, you had Chris Mortensen come out and say, like, you know, he's really ahead of schedule yesterday. Got to see him again today. The mobility's there. I mean, he's ducking and weaving big Dwight Schrute medicine balls today, and you're just going, yeah, this kid's going to be ready for week one. And, you know, the team is improved offensively. That's good enough for me. I know that there's a lot of things hanging in the air when it comes to the defense, especially, you know, the Michael Bennett situation still up in the air. Brandon Graham is just got some surgery on his ankle. But, you know, the strength of this is, and it's probably some guys that you won't even hear about from a national spot. But, the cornerbacks look so much better than last year. One, in terms of depth. Two, because you have Ronald Darby there finally getting like a normal offseason into a new team and scheme. There's still some questions like about guys like Rasul Douglas, who's going into a second year West Virginia corner, who I really liked in last year's draft. Certainly you're going to get the debut of Sidney Jones, who really looks the part right now. And granted, this is all OTAs with shirts and shells and things like that. But there isn't anybody that really, to me, poses a humongous threat. Are the Giants going to improve with Barkley there? Absolutely. I still want to see that offensive line do stuff. I think outside of, I was one of the guys who wasn't a big fan of the Barkley pick because of, again, distribution of wealth. It's the second overall guy. You want to keep Eli Manning propped up there? Go for it. You're going to have Nate Solder and, Will Hernandez and those guys really work out. Outside of that, I think the Giants had a good draft. I think Dallas had a good draft. Washington, listen, things just never work out for them. I think Alex Smith is great. I don't know what Jay Gruden is going to be able to do in between those things. Dallas has no firepower. Even if they kept Des Bryant, it was still kind of a question mark. They're scheduled to have like $72 million in cap room, which is good. I mean, like, when you don't want to keep around bad players, but at the same time, it means you're probably going to be missing out on a lot of key components. They're going to have to rely on a rookie wide receiver because Allen Hurns just ain't going to do it. I as homer as it sounds, you get to be a little homer because the Eagles won the Super Bowl. So
right.
It feels that way. They've improved in a lot of different key areas as well. So and again, if Carson Wentz plays all 16, coming off of what was going to be probably an MVP like season, can't wait to see what he looks like in a third year.
Right on. So, all right. So I know that we're focused in on the NFC East, but let me just ask you, broader spectrum NFC as a conference. What teams should the Eagles be looking for? Because you're right, they're the Super Bowl champs. Everybody's got their number.
Yeah, and that's a completely different answer than the division they're in, because a lot of them.
Right.
Like, I'm really interested to see what the 49ers are up to here. I think the combination of Kyle Shanahan and Jimmy Garoppolo together, I'm probably too high on Jimmy G. In fact, like, I got a lot of crap from my own Eagles brethren because I said, if I was starting a franchise right now, maybe I'd consider Jimmy G as like, my number one overall QB to kind of go and do that. I think the combo of him, because people are so ingrained with, like, it's only been 6 games, let's calm down and let's see what happens. I don't think you need to do that. I mean, Shanahan is a guy that will attack every part of the field, and although everyone's focused on the Rams, and they too, I just don't think the sustainability of their offense is going to be enough with the dream team like type of contract that they're doing. And I don't think I'm kind of that way with the Rams too. I know a lot of people are they're going all in here, and it's probably not going to work. I'm going to say it is. I do think the Rams are going to be legitimately a good team. We've seen this a couple of times now. The NFL has changed a bit in terms of free agents, and you can't just sign a whole bunch of them and expect to be good. You can if your core is pretty good. The Rams have established that already. Sean McVay is a fantastic offensive-minded coach. I think there's a lot of things to figure out there, but their defense has improved, and now Wade has his guys. That's important. So right off the gate, I think those are two to really focus on, and then the obvious ones, the Saints. Marcus Lattimore to me is a Greek god, and I really wish there were some points where the Eagles might have thought about going and doing that. I think Drew Brees being there again for this year, and just what they've built on already, have had a pretty good draft. Their offensive line keeps improving, and then to me, still the biggest threat is, I know it was 38-7 where the Eagles fans stumped on their grave, but I'm a big believer in John DeFilippo, who is a guy that was on the Eagles staff, who created a lot of what Carson Wentz was able to do, along with Frank Reich and obviously Doug Peterson. Having that ground was massive for Carson Wentz's development. But it's not just Carson Wentz that he's dealt with. You look at anybody he's gone with in the past, and that's in David Carr. It's even guys like Johnny Manziel and McCown and all those weird trips with the Browns that he had to Oakland. Everyone that he has touched, everyone has said that's been the best I have ever played in my life when it's under John DeFilippo. And I kind of feel that way about Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is kind of up in the air, right? Like there are parts of me where I think he could be towards that top 10, but some mentally dumb that you go, what is that? And there hasn't been a great complete work of games with him yet. But I think the combination of those guys and what Minnesota already brings in Thielen and Diggs, and you're getting hopefully Dalvin Cook, somewhere around that 1,000-yard range. And if he holds up and he stays healthy, I still think the Vikings are right there. And the complementary part of having Cousins and DeFilippo there. Now you only have to worry about your defense, which Zimmer absolutely needs to do, and he loves doing that. So I would say the Vikings are still the number one overall threat to the Eagles getting back to the Super Bowl this year.
Right on. That little segment where you called Marshawn Lattimore a Greek god was like my favorite clip of this episode already.
It's true. Like I just look at him and I go, good Lord, he's just going to be phenomenal. Yeah.
Full disclosure, John, I am diehard since day one of my life a Saints fan. So.
Okay, there you go.
So
there it is.
It's like music to my ears. All right, so back into the NFC East. Okay, so if you had to pick right now, and I really hate doing this so early in the season, but if you had to pick right now, of all the offensive rookies in the NFC East, who are you looking at to possibly be the offensive rookie of the year out of the East?
Boy, oh boy, that's a tough question. Let me see. I gotta remember who all the offensive guys are. Well, Cal, I mean, like,
gotta be Barkley.
Not say that I'm.
So we start here with offense. Is that what we're doing?
I would.
So you got Dallas Goedert on the Eagles.
Yeah,
you got Saquon Barkley on the Giants. Who else? The Cowboys drafted some tight ends.
There's Darius Geis down in Washington. There's a couple of. See, the easy answer probably would be Barkley. Screw it. I'm gonna say that Darius Geis actually pans out in Washington. That's and that's not a knock on the other guys. Listen, Barkley is a phenomenal running back, and he's going to be good. He's going to be really good. The generational tag that he got, I think, is
overblown.
A lot. It's a lot. And I'm an Iowa guy, and I know that Iowa football sucks, and it stinks, and they don't have all the good athletes, and it's Big Ten, and everybody thinks they play defense there, and they don't play defense there. They just don't have good enough athletes. But that to me is enough to go, okay, Saquon Barkley should have absolutely just dominated that game, and people will go back and tell you why. But guys like Josie Jewell shouldn't be taking care of you, and that's not a knock on him either. But he is not a superior athlete towards that. That's something that eventually I think will come around. But in terms of rookie year, and again, the Giants' offensive line scares me. I'm going to go with Darius Geis. I think he's going to have a chip on his shoulder. I think the whole draft process got really weird for him, and Washington does have a very rated offensive line, and they've been kind of looking for a guy there. Like, Pete Ryan, I was way too high on him, and he didn't exactly pan out there, but they just need a guy to go in there on first and second down that can hand the ball off to. It's a great compliment to Alex Smith. Although I think there are character issues there that are legitimate and not necessarily part of his football tact, which gets confused during this whole entire process too, because we don't have a ton of information. But I love Darius Geis, and I thought he was going to be an amazing pick at 32 for the Eagles, and he slid all the way down, and the Eagles obviously didn't like him enough. So I think that's enough to put him in that category this year.
Okay, cool. So before we move on to the who I'm going to ask you defensive player next, but just since we're on offensive player and Tanner brought up the name Dallas Goedert, I've got to ask how did you feel about David Akers announcing Dallas Goedert as the Eagles pick? Was that not magical or what?
That was, and leading up to it, like in Philly, we were just sitting here going like, really, David Akers? Okay. bring it, man, because I know how you talk, and he nailed it. Like, he crushed it. He, beyond my wildest expectations, to go out there and do all that and gloat in was a lot of fun to see. And getting that everybody was the weirdest discussion that was happening in Philly at the time was like, well, could the Eagles afford to take a second tight end when they have Zach Ertz? I was like, what are you freaking high? Of course they can, especially when it's a guy like that, who's a kid from Penn State that's I should know. Good Lord. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Like, there was infighting between. Yeah, Gesicki. Yeah. Good Lord. It's been a long day. There's that was an argument for a very long time, and it Philly Goddard, as we're now calling him respectfully, as we won't mention the name Dallas here in Philadelphia, is just such a great component, and we saw a little bit of that today, even when they're doing 7-on-7 goal line stuff. And if anyone dares to put a linebacker on that kid inside the red zone, that's going to be a win already. So you already have to worry about Zach Ertz. You already have to worry about either Alshon Jeffrey or Matt Collins, depending on Alshon's injury and when he's back. It's kind of unfair. That's a big part of it too. I'm really excited to see the different packages that he has. Controlling the middle of the field is obviously a big time where I think a lot of the league is going, but certainly where Doug Peterson likes to control the game there too. I think it's a big reason why Nelson Aguilar had a ton of success. And honestly, in the beginning of the year, when there was criticism of Torrey Smith and Alshon Jeffrey, was like, all right, when are we going to see the deep ball? When are we going to see this? It frees so many people up, and you're even looking by one stacks in the past couple of days here with Mike Wallace next to Nelson Aguilar, next to Matt Collins for the time being, and then all of a sudden there's Zach Ertz or Dallas Goedert that's hanging out on the other side, and you could certainly see some form of 12 personnel doing that, or 11 personnel, or 13 personnel with those guys on the field, and it's just, you're going, my God, is this going to be so much fun? So I don't know the immediate impact that Dallas Goedert will have, and that's why I kind of would say that he's in the running for like an offensive rookie of the year. But I do think they will ease him in, and goal line red zone is where he's going to eat the most. So a good, I would say, for up tight end.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and warn you now. The Philadelphia Trolls are coming out since you couldn't remember Gesicki's name. I'm just warning.
Well, I'm not a Penn State fan. I hate Penn State, so it's okay. Yeah.
All right, so defensive rookie of the year out of the NFC East.
Ooh.
There's
give me another list here.
Yeah. When you look at the teams, there's really not a lot of guys that were drafted really high on defense. I think the only two guys that come to name right away would probably be Deron Payne on the Redskins. And,
that's a good one.
Leighton Vander Esch in Dallas, depending if his neck injury can hold up.
See, that's what I don't understand. And like the whole entire draft community is split on Vander Esch too. My good friend and the co-host and also producer at Sports Radio 94 WIP makes the same joke all the time. It sounds like a Flyers goalie, and it did. Like, it's just, there's all three guys that could have fit in there. I swear it's not because Dallas picked him. I had reservations on his game in general, and I know some people are kind of all over the place with him. He's a little bit too much of a tweener for me right now to think that he's going to have a major impact this year. Certainly, there's a lot of room to grow. And again, I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen with Dallas's defense, but he's a more wait and see for me. And I think you know what? Screw it. I think Josh Sweat has he's not going to be there, but I still think he is.
Before you commit to that pick, I just want to throw one more name out there that I might have forgot to say. The Giants are going to a 3-4 defense this year, and I really like the Lorenzo Carter fit in there too.
Oh yeah, that's another good one. I'd probably stick with Payne because I think that was a really good pick. I can't believe that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that Washington's not going to work out. They've already named offensive and defensive players. But yeah, there's a lot of good guys here that just have a ton of upside, and that's kind of like, well, we'll go and flip a coin with that. I will say, after seeing Josh Sweat in person, I totally get what everybody's saying, and after seeing him at the combine a little bit and understanding where he kind of fits in, he's quick. His bend's ridiculous.
Sweat pick. Loved it.
Yeah, there's one player in the draft every year that falls because of an injury, and he was definitely that guy this year. So that was definitely a steal for Philly.
Yeah, so it's exciting, and just a little nugget there. I don't think that's just to add up and the rich get richer, and as much as we like to kind of say those things, I think he's going to be used a little more than we're expecting. Certainly not like a Chris Long role, but he might have to do that in the first couple of weeks of the season. It's kind of up in the air with Timmy Jernigan and Brandon Graham and all this other different stuff. I think they're trying to find solutions to the pass rush problem as opposed to, let's just go in and get it because it's the right pick to do. I think it was a little A and B kind of meeting up there, but I wouldn't be surprised if Josh Sweat plays a significant amount this year.
All right, so we'll go around. We'll go around the horn on this one. So we'll start with the Giants. We'll go to Washington, Dallas, and then we'll end with Philadelphia. Breakout player for each team. Who could you see? And it could be veteran. It could be a rookie. It could be some second-year player.
Let's start with the Giants.
Yeah, let's start with the Giants.
Evan Ingram to me is the least talked about player that is going around right now, I think, in the NFC East. And everybody's just like we were saying, everybody's consumed by Barkley and OBJ coming back, and rightfully so, because those are big, nice, flashy things. But Evan Ingram in what Pat is scary to me. That's the scariest part of their offense, and I don't think anybody's talking about it.
Yeah.
Now a lot of that's probably the distraction of just in the same way that I would view Dallas Goedert, like, oh, you're just going to forget about him because the other weapons that are there. Between him and Barkley, I think that has a really good chance of him just consuming touchdowns this year.
All right, so
I like that pick a lot. I think with OBJ coming back, that's definitely going to open up a ton.
All right, so now Washington.
We are going to go down, and we're going to say,
I don't even know.
Going to bring
Josh Doctson.
That's what I want to say, and I've been too many flags on his hill probably to say that. I don't know if Alex Smith's down throws that kind of just came about in Kansas City are really going to stick with them, because it really is to say it's even relevant to the same kind of offense would be a disservice. It is different, and that's the only thing that's holding me back, because Dotson's not going to be that much of a possession guy there, and honestly, I really don't know what's going to happen with their wide receiver core. But it dealt with injuries. We all know his story. Josh Doctson, I thought was. I think I even mistakenly ranked him a lot higher than your boy down in New Orleans there, which is Michael Thomas, which is a huge mistake. But I know. I just look at me. I like Josh Doctson to be quote unquote safest wide receiver to pick in his class. So I'd probably still go with him.
Okay, cool. All right, so now we're gonna go to D-Town. Dallas Cowboys.
He's going to say nobody.
He's going to say
there's got
you can say nobody if you want.
Somebody's got to break out in Dallas. That's just how somebody's gonna. You know what? Screw it. I'm not. It's gonna be Dak Prescott.
I was about to say Dak Prescott's like the safe but probably most reasonable answer.
It is, and even saying that, I still don't know who he's throwing to. It's kind of like okay.
Yes.
It's Alan Hearns really. It's going to be. Listen. It's tough for him. In fact, I'm going to change my answer already, because the bread and butter of this, and the guy that needs to get back on the right foot, even though he looks a little pudgy and he's wearing a fanny pack and he's carrying around guns. I'm going to because voice on the offense there. Even defensively, like I'm not. Man, there's just not a lot of guys that are just gonna jump out and have 15 sacks or something like that.
Smith, maybe.
Yeah, and man, I am really rooting for that kid. I hope that continues to progress, because there are so many players that I love that end up going to the opposite NFC East teams, and that's a great story to root for. I really hope that he does take that step forward. In the OTA reports that we're kind of seeing there early is that he is going to be a lot better than he was last year. But I'm going to. I'm a wuss and I can't, think outside of the box.
Okay.
It's all good, man.
So your Philadelphia Eagles, who do you think is going to be the breakout player?
It's so funny because like all of the guys broke out.
Yeah, right.
So can I do mine? Can I do my Eagles pick?
Yeah, go. Yeah, please do.
Sidney Jones.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And honestly, he'd probably be mine too. Like,
I'm super upset he couldn't see the field last year.
Yeah, same. And the only reason why I'd be reluctant is there. You can still see the rookie in him a little bit, but certainly I still think he's right on course. After the first 4, 5, 6 weeks of the season, where he's really going to grasp and get his footing. Plus, I'm not really sure they're comfortable in giving him a starting role, because if they are, Darby's going to have to play bad, Jalen Mills is going to have to play bad, or we're going to see a huge surprise where Jalen Mills goes to safety, or he has been getting some looks in at the nickel, but this been on their practice squad for a while now, has a couple practice, so it does get crowded in there. I would say the guy is going to break out more that now there's no doubt about it, even though he's been doing it for a long time. I look out for Cox. And on top of that, because I don't know who's going to be playing next to him, and it certainly isn't going to be Timmy. And
it's not going to be Timmy.
Yes, Haloti Nada, Elijah Qualls. There's a Destiny Diego. There's a lot of different guys you can kind of rotate and go in there. Yeah. He's sensing that now too, where he's even said, I want to go out and be the sack leader of this football team. I want to be the guy. I want to attack. I want to make everybody fear me. So I believe in him. I believe what Fletcher Cox says a lot of the time. So I'm going to stick with him.
All right, cool. All right. So you touched on this just a little bit earlier, but it's probably the biggest storyline for the Philadelphia Eagles, and that is Carson Wentz. Do you expect Carson Wentz to be ready week 1?
100%. 100%. He's been working exceptionally hard, and that doesn't surprise any of us either, because it's who he is. He's in there a lot, and I think there's a small, tiny underlying factor that you have the Super Bowl MVP literally behind your back, and people can sugarcoat that as much as they want, where it's like, hey, don't rush it. You're a franchise quarterback. We know that. That's not how athletes operate. It's not how competitors operate. He wants to be back on that field. You can see the disappointment in him. He wasn't physically on the field to win that Super Bowl, even though, like I was just telling you guys, 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. There's no way they get there without him. Right. Not a chance. This guy threw a touchdown pass as he blows it out to Alshon Jeffrey in Los Angeles. He wants to be there. He wants to be the guy. And not only that, he wants to be the best quarterback in the league.
And when quarterbacks like Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, when these guys start retiring, I mean, he probably will be the best quarterback in the league. I don't think there's a doubt in my mind about that. What about now? So what does that say about Nick Foles? Are they going to try to trade him, or you think they hold on to him as a backup? I mean, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird that Super Bowl MVP and what should have been the regular season MVP are on the same team. And they're both quarterbacks.
It's crazy, right?
I think there is every single year there will be a team where somebody's starter is going to go down, and Nick Foles is priority option number 1 for whoever's team loses.
Oh yeah. And the great thing about Nick, and I was a very big critic of Nick Foles through his entire career, but in small samples, and you can put him in those type of situations. Even just going back to when Michael Vick and him and Chip Kelly, like he stepped in when Michael, and we all know how that kind of worked out. But you make him a starter, you make him the guy. Here comes Mark Sanchez, and you're like, oh wow. And you're like, oh, but in those little pops, and there's even struggles in those little pops. I don't know what it is, but if you look at his career, he's never had a 16-game season. He's a perfect, hybrid starter reliever type of guy. I still wouldn't put him as a full-time 16-game starter unless it is optimal conditions like the Philadelphia Eagles, and they want to go back to the Super Bowl. So that's fine. Like they did that. I don't have a problem with either one, but I will say he is probably here at the end of the year.
All right. And to round out our questions for you, how do you envision the NFC East ending this year? So obviously
it's early, but you got to take a gander.
Obviously, you think the Eagles are going to win the division, right?
Yes,
okay,
for sure.
So who's coming in that number 2 spot?
I'm still going to give that to. And I don't expect them to do much. I think they're a 9-win football team, and I would say that the Giants are probably going to be somewhere in the 7 range, and probably Washington's around there too, like that 6 to 7 win. So I'll go Dallas Giants, Washington with the Eagles with about 11-win team this year.
Okay, cool. All right, so I think that'll wrap us all up for tonight. So John, I appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for taking the time, John. Appreciate it.
And,
you got it, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
One more time before we let you go, let everybody know where they can find you on the internet.
Yes, on the twitter.com at John Barchard. Podcast is at BGN_radio. And you can go to BigNation.com. Also catch me on the old terrestrial radio at Sports Radio 94 WIP.
Yeah, we actually have a pretty good Philadelphia following. So those of you that are listening in the Philadelphia area, be sure you're checking him out on that daily sports radio show for sure. So thanks.
Appreciate it, guys.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Have a good one.